Picture this scene. You're a business owner. You're dealing with the challenges of COVID-19. You still have bills to pay, payroll to run, customers to please. In the midst of it all, you get that dreaded phone call. You've been hacked. Now, before you get panicked, the good news is you've actually paid a team to do the hacking for you. Why in the world would you do that? Maybe in the past you've heard the term red team thrown around. What is a red team and why would you want one? A red team is a group of security experts that you've engaged to intentionally break into your network. This is much more than just a simple basic exercise. This is designed to legitimately improve your security posture. So what exactly makes a red team a red team? And how is it different than a penetration test, or PenTest for short? Well, let's start with a penetration test and what that really is. A penetration test is an exercise where certain applications or services that you run in your organization are intentionally penetrated or tested against for vulnerabilities. When doing tests like this, the penetration tester isn't worried about setting off alarms because everyone is aware of what's going on. After all, you know why they're there and what they're doing. At the end of it all, you're provided with a detailed report on their findings, which you totally love to read, right? Normally, this is something that you get done once a year, perhaps even every 6 months, as a way of maintaining compliance. After all, what's worse than going about your business only to find out that some bug allowed a hacker to compromise your network, exposing the personal records of all of your customers, your employees, and so forth. Not to mention the hefty fine that comes along with it. So that's more or less what a penetration test is. It's something that you get to make sure that you're safeguarding your user data while maintaining compliance. It looks at the applications that you have, and just that, applications. But our question today, though, is what about the users behind those computers? What about, say, Donna down in marketing, who always sends all of her emails with those upside down smiley faces? Or what about Jim in sales, who managed to forget his password on your busiest week of the year? What about the actual servers that host the back-end data that's so critical to your organization? If you've outsourced the hosting of those servers, has that provider done a good job of locking them down? What if one of your remote employees loses their laptop or has it stolen from their vehicle? You see, there are a lot of moving parts to any organization, and that is where the true value of a red team comes out. Now you might be thinking, well, my business is very small compared to the big guys, so no hacking group would be interested in us. But think of it this way. If you were a hacker, which type of target would you prefer? One that's big and has really readied its defenses? Or one that's small and unsuspecting? So now let's talk for a moment about a red team, a group of professionals who are looking at your organization as a whole. Not just the applications, but the users, the network, the servers, even the building itself. A red team will start off with no existing knowledge of how your company works, and then they attempt to break in or to find flaws in your system. And instead of just stopping as soon as they find a flaw and generating a report, they look for all the ways that they can to break in. So now you think about individual vulnerabilities, like a single weak password, or an individual system that hasn't been kept up to date with patches. Those type of things are hard to quantify, which can make it really difficult to understand the reports that come from a penetration test. But with a red team, you wind up with valuable data on the vulnerabilities of your network, and most importantly, how that impacts your business. A red team will look into every risk factor that an organization may have. You have human factors, technological factors, and organizational factors that all contribute to the overall picture. What's fascinating is that a red team will employ the same techniques that a legitimate hacking group would use against your organization. Things like social engineering, tricking your employees into giving away things they shouldn't, covert entry, where they manage to break in while staying under the radar. Many techniques that are utilized in the same fashion that a real hacker would use. And this ensures that you're getting an accurate picture of how your business could be attacked. At the end of it all, the red team will give you a list of things that you should do to make it that much harder for a real attacker to get in. Aren't you glad you've decided to do this well in advance of a real attack? They say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. and that is no more true than in this situation. Almost immediately, you would get a huge value out of a test like this, not just in what they found, but how they discovered it. Oftentimes, they find some unconventional entry point into your network that you or anybody else never would have guessed. With information like that, you're well positioned to shore up your defenses. Now, there's no such thing as 100% security. And anyone who tells you that there is probably just trying to sell you something. And we encourage you to challenge anybody who says that there is. But with the help of a red team and implementing the changes that they recommend, you're a lot closer to achieving that 100% than you were before. At Sky Technologies, we have a good background in security, and we as a virtual IT department are well positioned to help you implement the changes as recommended by your red team, bringing your business up to a much more secure footing. Do you have any questions or comments? Feel free to leave them below. Do you think we're being too dramatic? We'd like to hear that too. Feel free to get in touch with us anytime. We're happy to help with both your IT and security needs.